Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is United vs. Everybody. I am your host, Sean, and I'm so glad you could be here a little earlier today. Just had a crazy schedule today, so I'm trying to just maximize my time and make good use of it, so a little earlier than normal, but hopefully that's okay for you guys. Anyone who is able to join live, awesome. I know it's the middle of the day for a lot of people, but you can always come back and watch it later on and leave your thoughts in the comments as well. You guys know I do respond to all those. Um, I know the under 18s also have an FA Youth Cup game kicking off in about a half an hour. So sorry, no watch along for that today. Again, just not able to make that happen. If I'm not here for the whole thing, you wouldn't want me to just have to stop in the middle of it, right? That would be just do like a first half watch along. That'd be weird. So hopefully the next time some of the academy games come around and they're on MUTV, I'll be able to do another watch along. Seems like you guys liked doing that the first time. So hopefully there, but I do think the game is on MUTV if you do have it. So you can go ahead and watch that. There are some FA Cup or Carabao Cup games on today as well, if you care. So in any case, I am back today to preview our Carabao Cup game on Thursday. It's also a little bit of a United news roundup as well, since there was a lot of things that I didn't get to talk about yesterday that I want to talk about today because I prepped to do this yesterday, but then obviously we got the big Marcus Rashford news, so I wasn't able to do that. But so we're going to go through some of the news as well, and then of course preview the match on Thursday. First and foremost, though, again, we didn't really give it proper props yesterday. We didn't want to detract, but big up Alejandro Garnacho. Congratulations for officially winning. He's announced as the winner of the 2024 Puskás Award for his bicycle kick goal against Everton last season. What an amazing goal it was from the kid. Does make him the first United player to win the award since Cristiano Ronaldo in 2008. So trivia, if you can remind me of what that goal was that Ronaldo won it for, you get kudos, you get a thumbs up. In any case, congrats Alejandro on winning the Puskás. Hopefully, he keeps humble about that. He doesn't let it go to his head. I'm not saying that he's the kind of kid who does. I'm just saying hopefully he doesn't. It's a symbol of hard work. It is recognition for a really brilliant goal, but hopefully he takes it as a challenge to keep producing magic like that and doesn't kind of rest on his laurels. So congrats, Alejandro. We love you. It was an amazing goal. We're so proud to have that award back at this club. It's been 15 years now. So continuing with the good vibes, it has been reported too that Amad Diallo's agent is set to meet with United executives this week at Carrington to finalize the deal on a new contract for the guy. Get it done. Give him the 10 shirt, give him the 7 shirt, give him whatever shirt he wants, give him the keys to the stadium, let him have parties there. I don't care. Do whatever he wants. The guy is literally one of our best players right now. He's our best attacker by far. He's got it. It's not just I'm good at finishing. He's got everything. He's got energy, work rate, pace, skill on the ball. Like his touch to bring down that ball from Lissandro Martinez against City in the Derby, and then to create space for himself and then put it in from a very, very tight angle was just everything you need. It was technique, like personified, all in 1-2 second play, like perfect. So good to see that. Hopefully we'll get an announcement on Amad Diallo's new contract sometime this week. That would be excellent. In a bit of transfer news as we move on, United could be set to rival Real Madrid for a 17-year-old youngster. It's not Mestan Tuono either, so that's just another guy. So this is coming from Caught Offside. Caught Offside claims that Olympiacos striker Charalampos Kostulas, don't know if that's how you pronounce it, I'm just going to throw it out there, but he's a young striker, 17-year-old striker. He has caught the attention of Real Madrid and Manchester United after breaking into the first team this season. Both teams, United and Madrid, are just among a list of clubs who have sent scouts to watch Kostulas apparently this season. He's got 2 goals in his last 3 appearances, one of which was as a substitute, 3 goals in all comps. In the league just this season, just 7 starts for the kid. He's already been in the team of the week twice in the Greece league. Sounds like a promising youngster, right? It sounds like yet another one on the list that we're just looking at. Reportedly, Olympiacos have slapped a 20 million euro price tag on him, so a little cheaper. Sorry, I've got like a bug bite on the back of my neck. It's itching the shit out of me. So €20 million for another promising youngster. Is that something you want to do? Is that something we should prioritize right now? It's a lot for promise, right? But we'll see. But want to know what you guys think. If true, I mean, it is keeping in the trend of Ineos and company identifying young talent, buying up who we think are going to be the best young players. It is a win-win in some cases. Either the player ends up fulfilling on that promise and they're part of the first team, or they're sold for massive profit if they fulfill on that promise and another club comes calling 4 or 5 years down the line. It's exactly what happened with Cristiano Ronaldo. Or if he doesn't work out and we sell him and we either take a little bit of a loss or make a marginal profit, or we sell him for an initial loss with a sell-on clause like we've been doing with some of these young players. Because you buy a 17-year-old, they're not coming in right away in the first team, even if it's a Nippon. I don't even know if we get Nippon if he'd come in and be a starter right away, even though he's very, very good. So you guys let me know, have you guys, anyone out there familiar with Olympiacos? I'll admit I don't watch the Greece league very often. I'm definitely not super familiar with players at Olympiacos. So you let me know if he's someone that you're familiar with. On Nippon, though, so Dean Jones claims that we are also closing in on the signing of Sphere Nippon. He says we've allegedly stepped up our pursuit on a January deal and progress is being made. There was a photo going around of Nippon in the Rosenborg dressing room. He had like a United poster, I think it was from this year, he was holding up. Who knows? It sounds like it could be just a matter of time with Nippon. I hope so. I really like this kid a lot. You guys have heard me wax lyrical about him. The kid's got it. He's very, very, very good. Jared, welcome to the channel, my friend. Good to see you. 20 mil seems a bit high, but if he's got good potential, could replicate the Diallo situation and how we got him. Yeah. It is one of those things. To me, it does seem a bit high for someone who's just now playing just first-team football, but I think that's just an initial price tag. It's never usually ending up being the one. I think the problem is, when you start like Mastantuono, who is getting a lot of attention, the better a young player does, the more clubs get interested, the higher that price tends to get. So it's one of those things where, do you trust your scouts? Do you trust your recruitment? Do you trust your club's talent identification enough to say, yeah, this is worth it? We're going to try to get a little lower, but this is definitely someone we think is worth it. Let me know. But I do like what we're targeting. I do like, the academy right now is in some of the best form I've seen it in terms of some of the under 18s, under 21s. They do kick off in about 20 minutes in the FA Youth Cup. If we can keep that going and keep rolling out talent, I mean, the more talent you bring in, the more good youngsters you identify. Obviously, not all of them are going to come through and make it first team, but you're increasing your likelihood when the sample size is higher. So, and sticking with that, so the president of Cerro Porteño, Juan Jose Zapaj, he has kind of added some fuel to the Diego Leon rumors. So remember, this was the young left back, I think he's Paraguayan, we talked about the other day that we've been linked with, 17 years old. He says the Manchester United interest in Diego Leon is official. It will be defined in the next few days, probably. So again, another announcement we could be set for, kind of a double announcement, maybe an Amad Diallo contract, maybe a Sphere Nippon signing next couple weeks, maybe Diego Leon. He can't join us, Diego Leon, until the summer because he's still young. He won't be 18 yet, but it is nice to see us again targeting these young players. Darkro, big up, my guy. How are you doing? Good to see you again. He asked would you mind if Amorim rotates again tomorrow? We're going to see. We're going to talk to you. It's a big question I want to ask you guys, when it comes to our priorities for this week. Not necessarily looking at priorities whole season. I'm talking about just right now with where we are, with the new manager, with the rotation, with everything going on right now, with the big match this week. And I know it shouldn't feel like a big match against Bournemouth, but it is. We're going to talk about that. Do you want us to rotate? What would you like to do? What are you going to prioritize? Do you just want to go all out for everything? Do you want to maybe save some legs for the weekend? You guys let me know, but we will get there, Darkro. But thank you for reminding me. We will get there. Sticking with some transfer news, BBC is linking us again with a January loan move for Randall Kolo Muani. Obviously, went to PSG from the Bundesliga. Hasn't really set the world alight at PSG. I think it was wrong of them to try to get Gonçalo Ramos and Kolo Muani at the same time. But I'm not super sold on Kolo Muani personally. You guys let me know what you like. Right now, I've been calling him No Muani because I'm not interested. But who knows? I mean, I'll back anybody that we sign. Danny B getting in the chat. How are you, my friend? Good to see you. Jared says, I think he's got to go for it tomorrow. A good opportunity to progress. Yeah, it is the first piece of silverware available to him. Ten Hag won it in his first season, right? It is the quarterfinal, too, and we all remember the quarterfinal last year, how well that was. That was one of my favorite games last year. Danny says, no, please not Muani. Yeah, I'm not. He's not a bad player. He could go someplace like Arsenal or something. I think he'd be fine. He kind of suits that system a little bit more, but Jared says, big no for me on Muani. He has not shown anything worth anything. Yeah, he's not convincing me. I think that if I had to choose, like, I'd probably just stick with Højlund because I like Højlund a lot. I think Højlund's been doing really, really well. But you guys let me know because we've also been linked by Caught Offside for Victor Osimhen. Obviously, I'm not sure about this one. Take that with a big pinch of salt because you guys, I'm just reporting it, but you know how I feel when the source, when it's like an outlet source is according to sources or Caught Offside understands. I don't like to jump to run with anything like that until there's more substance, but I mention it mainly just to see what you guys think about Victor Osimhen. Obviously, he was a big deal at Napoli, on loan at Galatasaray right now. We'll see what happens there. There's a lot of clubs. That would be a guy that I think Arsenal should definitely be going for. If Spurs ever want to be seen as a big, they have to replace Harry Kane adequately. I'm sorry, Dominic Solanke is not a replacement. Richarlison's not a replacement. I'm like Gyökeres when he was at Coventry would have been the guy I thought Spurs should have gotten. I think he would have been an excellent replacement. But Spurs just don't buy well, do they? They got all that money for Gareth Bale. Did not. The only person of any sort of value that came from that was Christian Eriksen. Dele Alli had a really good start to his career at Spurs, and it just kind of tapered off. So it is what it is. Composed View, welcome back, my friend. Wants to know about Matheus Cunha. I was all over Matheus Cunha until that situation the other day. I'm not a fan of players who are just kind of behave like that. I'm not trying to judge him. I'm just like, you know what? We'll see. I didn't say I'm off, and I'm saying I'm cooling on Cunha at the moment. We'll see what happens. Wolves are kind of in a friggin' shit show right now, so we'll see what happens with that club. Or Evan Ferguson. I think a lot of us kind of forgot all about Evan Ferguson. He was a big, big deal, and then he got injured, and I haven't really heard much about him recently. But he's, I think that I would like us to maybe get a striker. If we get another striker, and let's say Xerxes doesn't work out necessarily, I'd like us to maybe get someone who's a little bit more experienced, mainly because Rasmus was brought in to develop. We were supposed to get another one. We got Højlund, and we never got that. But I would like someone a little more experienced as well. Give Højlund some really good competition. I think Højlund is good enough. Like right now, he's doing very well. But I'd like someone like a Jonathan David, like I said, who's available for free in the summer. There's a lot of options out there. I just haven't seen a whole lot of Evan Ferguson Composed View since he had that like breakout season at Brighton a few years ago, and then he got injured. So we'll see if he can get back to it. Those kind of leg issues, obviously, when they're long-term injuries, we'll see. Lisandro Martinez hasn't looked the same since. Luke Shaw obviously hasn't looked the same since. You've got Fofana as well, who had that big leg break at Leicester and things. So it's hard. It could go either way. But thanks for jumping in today, man. So moving on, Stephen Railson with the MEN. It's the MEN. So again, another pinch of salt. We're all getting our cholesterol raised today with all these pinches of salt we're throwing on these rumors. But he reports that Championship and League One clubs are interested in a January loan move for Ethan Ennis, who you guys have heard me rave about. Obviously, we did that watch along for that academy match. We've talked about Ennis a few times. The kid is on fire now. 10 goals and 15 appearances right now. He is the sole reason, by the way, I don't think we need to spend 75 whatever million on Giovanni Quendo. We have players like Ennis, Montato in the academy who are literally the same age. We don't need to go spend that much when we have a lot of rebuilding to do. Loans are tricky, though, especially with the youngsters. Like when James Garner went on loan, it's always tricky. You want to make sure it's a good club. James Garner went on loan, and he did really well at Forest. Watford was a different story. Watford changed their manager midseason. Garner couldn't get a sniff after that. It's just, you want to make sure when you're loaning players out, they're going to play, and you want to make sure that they're going to a club that, suits what maybe you're trying to do as well. Otherwise, what's the point if they're not getting minutes? So you can always end the loan early for whatever reason. I know we ended like David Beckham's loan early when he was at Preston North End, but you want players to play. That's the whole point of sending them out on loan. So we'll see. What we got here? Composed View says, on second thought, an experienced striker would be brilliant. Someone experienced. I mean, it doesn't have to be like a 32-year-old. I know we're all probably tired of that. You could even go get, and you guys let me know. I've seen some other people talking about this. I mean, sorry, I got to learn my words here. Heung-min Son is not going to sign a new contract at Spurs. I forget, was he like 31, 32? Kind of could be a great little option to come in for a year or two. You guys let me know if that's something you would be interested in. There's the striker market's not as good as it was the other 2 years ago. There's definitely less options to choose from, but I think right now, for me, in attacking it, and we might do another video on this in the future. You guys let me know if you want to do a video on like replacing Rashford in the squad and what that looks like. But I'd like to see someone in their mid-20s maybe who's a little more experienced, or someone who's a little older who is available on a free or something. But Danny B says, nah, Son, classic Glazer signing, no thanks. Yeah, I mean, he would be free. I think that's the only reason I throw him out there. He would be free. But who knows? I don't think, is Son like a Glazer signing? Is he the kind of guy that, the Glazers would sign? I mean, maybe. He's going to look back in his career, though, at Spurs, and he's going to say, you know what? I got to travel to some fun places, but I didn't win a damn thing. So, in some non-transfer related news, we do have a little bit of an update regarding the stadium project and the task force assigned by Ineos. So, task force led by Lord Sebastian Coe. He did share an update on Instagram, I think it was. Let me throw it up here on the screen for you guys here. So he's just kind of recapping a little bit. This has been a multi-stakeholder process. Obviously, they did that fan survey, got like 50,000 fan responses on what they were looking for. They talked to people in the area, prominent members of the community, local businesses, all that stuff. They want to make sure they're getting all the perspectives, everything, all the factors, everything involved when it comes to the stadium, because they know and they plan on having it impact more than just the team. They want it to impact the surrounding area. So he says they did their final meeting on Friday. He says, today we discussed the outcome of this work in the form of options report with United, Trafford Borough Council, and Greater Manchester Combined Authority to help inform the decision-making process. He goes on to say, United will now work together with local authorities to review the findings and agree a path forward. I want to say, what did he say next here? Today, I had the honor of chairing the final meeting of the Old Trafford Task Force in 2024. This marked the conclusion of months of feasibility work to explore ways in which the development of a world-class stadium can catalyze regeneration of the area around Old Trafford, delivering huge social and economic benefits for the local community and the wider region. So we've talked a little bit about this already. I did a few videos already on stadiums, on upping the seats, all this stuff. I did that long video on the actual truth behind some of the economic pros and cons of that kind of thing based on what you see around the world and different things. We looked at SoFi Stadium and all that kind of stuff. So you guys let me know where you're at, because we're going to find out, I think, in the summer. So the club stated on the website today that they're going to continue looking at the feasibility and the engagement work into the next year. And there's going to be a decision probably coming in this summer on what we can expect to see. So it sounds like we're going to wait till the summer to find out if we're getting a new stadium or we're going to be renovating Old Trafford. But you guys let me know what you'd prefer. New stadium, renovate the old one. It's hard, right? I think that I think all things being equal, we would love it if we could just renovate Old Trafford. We just can't. The Glazers just kind of let it rot, and then even structurally, it's just not possible. So it is what it is. I'd love to see something happen with it. I don't want to see it torn down, but I don't think we can build on it. So in some rival watch, Chelsea are struggling because apparently, I don't know if you guys saw the news, Mikhailo Mudryk has been provisionally suspended from football altogether after a positive doping test. Fabrizio Romano added and confirmed that this was a urine test. Apparently, in the A sample, a banned substance was found in the end of October, and then in the B sample, expected to be opened soon as well to follow up on that. But as of right now, he's failed that test. A Ukrainian sports outlet, UA Football, reports following the first failed test, a request was made for a second sample, which is currently being analyzed. Mudryk himself has stated that he's never knowingly used any banned substances. That seems to be the typical response when somebody gets caught doing this. I didn't knowingly take it. Like Mudryk, I'm sorry, but ignorance and like irresponsibility, that's never going to get you out of trouble in life. It just is what it is. I'm not saying he did it. I'm just saying that's not the excuse you want to go with personally. He could potentially face a 4-year suspension if he's found guilty of this, though. So that is insane. How much did Chelsea spend on Mudryk again? That's crazy. Maybe Chelsea need a left winger. Maybe Marcus Rashford could head over to join his buddy Sancho. So that's interesting. I mean, we've seen it now and then from footballers. Obviously, Pogba's and just now coming back from a ban from a similar issue. So just fun little read here. Another fun little rival watch. I read a stat last night regarding Arsenal. So according to Paddy Power, Arsenal haven't scored from open play in the league for 5.5 hours. They just keep scoring set piece goal after set piece goal after set piece goal. I don't know how you guys feel about something like that because they're doing well scoring on set piece goals, but they haven't scored from open play on 5.5 hours. I know I should keep my powder dry, right? Because we lost to Arsenal because of set piece goals. It's just sad though, right? I think that honestly, only being able to score from set pieces, it just belies a lack of creativity from open play. I think that it's not sustainable for a club with ambitions of winning the league to only be able to score from set pieces. I think that is not how you win leagues. Definitely not how you win trophies and other competitions either. I just don't know if that's going to do it. I don't know what Arsenal's issue is, but Danny says that they paid 87 million for a teenager who has had less appearances in his whole career than just one season of top flight football. That's insane. I know Arsenal will look at him too. That's insane though. That's so much money for a guy with a butterfly tattoo and who's on his neck and who's super fast. That's about it. Jared says set piece merchants, it won't get them through a full season to achieve what they actually should. Yeah, I think Arsenal had their shot in the last 2 years. It was probably their peak. And then I think that's it. I just don't think they missed their chance. I think that they needed to get a striker. I think that was the biggest thing for Arsenal was getting Gabriel Jesus and Kai Havertz instead of getting an actual proven striker. And it's biting him in the ass now. So it is what it is. I don't think you're going to win anything without a top striker. Jared says, Arteta bragging about community shields. That shows you what level of a club they really are. Did he really? I thought I saw like a little blurb. If the guy is bragging about community shields, I mean, yeah, Guy Liner can get all the community shields he wants. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to help him win the league. A thing that does help you win leagues, though, is recruitment. Like we're saying, recruiting a striker in their case. City recruiting better players, not bringing in Doku to replace Grealish, not bringing Gundogan back, who's like 35, recruitment. And a big part of that is planning for the future by identifying top young talent. We've already talked about a few that United have been linked with and could possibly get over the line in January. But what that does bring us to is to shake things up a little bit before we dive into this full match preview is a scouting report, a little mini scout report. Now, this one is a player that it was not on my radar, but it was suggested by Danny B in the chat who's got probably one of the best eyes I've seen for South American talent around, Danny B. So big up. Danny says, yeah, they should have signed Tony. Yeah, they should have signed Tony. They should have signed a lot of players. They really should have. Big up United TV. How you doing, Rich? Yeah, a little early stream today. I got a lot going on. I wanted to do like a watch along for the under 18s because they kick off in a few minutes. I just don't have time. So it is what it is. I wanted to get in and do a stream. Goals for George, 5 to 10 million is big money in the Greek league as they don't pay much for their signings, and a lot of exports have flopped in tougher leagues. Yeah, you're talking about Kostulas kid. yeah, we'll see what comes of that. I like where the recruitment is looking in terms of young talent who are maybe on their first, second contract, so that keeps people hungry. But we'll see. Danny B says City recruitment has been terrible for a few seasons. I mean, if there was any recruitment, it'd be one. I mean, paying 100 million for Jack Grealish, who hasn't scored in the league for a year, and like I got City fans out here telling me that he's worth it because kids cut their hair like him. Like, what the hell is that? Where we're at right now? That's so embarrassing. So let me move on to my little mini scout report before we jump into this full match preview, you guys. So this one is suggested by Danny B, who, like I said, does have an excellent eye for South American talent. So big up Danny B. This is Julio Soler. He plays for Lanús, which is in the Argentina league. He's 19. He will be 20 in a few months. So in February, he's already got 18 starts this season. He's already featured in the team of the week once in the league. So he's doing pretty well for himself. Plays as a left back. He's really good at reading the game, and that's why he's got great interceptions numbers. When you can read the game, you get a lot of interceptions because you know where the ball is moving to. He's very good at ground duels. He's very good at covering the ground. He's really quick. He's got explosive acceleration, an excellent work rate, stamina for days, and he's actually got a really decent passing range. He can switch a ball really good, really well. Sorry, I graduated. I know my words. Some other stats. So he's the third highest rated player in Lanús according to SofaScore. In his team, he's the third highest rated player. He's got the fourth best pass completion in the team, 6 for key passes per 90. He's tied for second in the team right now for tackles per 90, and he's third for interceptions. He's still a teenager, and these are the kind of things he's going to. And again, this is because he reads the game well. He knows when to step up to intercept a ball and to win a header. He knows when to hold back. That is a football intelligence that can't be taught. That's football intelligence that you have it or you don't. It can be improved upon. You can't teach it. He's very good in the ball. He's got really good carries. He's got really good take-on percentiles, really good passing rates. Like he's above average for carries and take-ons. He's in the top 5% for interceptions and blocks per 90 as well. And he's like middle for aerials. So he's actually really good at winning the ball. He's got really good explosive pace, like I said. He can just boom out of nowhere. He goes from 0 to 60 and beats a man like that and creates so much space for himself. He averages 85 minutes per match, like I said, so he's got that stamina. It's kind of like watching Declan Rice play at left back, like West Ham Declan Rice, not like Arsenal. He's just all over the place. He's really good. It looks like he's just creating everything. It looks like he has nothing but time and space because he can create it for himself. Problem is, as Danny informed me when he suggested him, the guy's linked with Liverpool pretty heavily. So, and it does sound like it's on, as Danny says in the chat. United TV says those City fans are funny. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to insult anybody, right? When I hear excuses like that, it's just like, come on. We could, if we had said the same thing about Pogba, like, oh, you spent this much on Pogba after letting go for free, and we're like, yeah, but he's got his own logo and stuff, and people cut their hair like him. Like, City fans would have slated us for days. We know Graham Souness is still slating Pogba. I'm pretty sure Graham Souness is probably blaming Pogba for everything going on at the club right now. Rashford acting the way he's acting, Pogba's fault. United TV says their team is dropped quicker than a Wenger team in April. Yeah, they dropped quicker than Kyle Walker, right? Danny B, Liverpool favorites, yeah, on Soler. Jack Grealish is an 8 or a 10, being misused at City by Pep on the wings. Well, it is what it is. They paid $100 million for him, and it wasn't even like they could spread that out. They literally paid the release clause, so it was straight up. Here's a $100 million check. Let's bring him in, and the guy got outscored in his first season at City by Fred. So that in of itself is a sackable offense somewhere. Somebody let me know. And the guy can't even start for City anymore. He doesn't start. He can't put a corner in to save his life. His hair looks like a freaking soccer mom from the early 90s. He literally, who he reminds me of every time I see Jack Grealish with that fucking headband? If you ever watched Dumb and Dumber, that scene where they go skiing and the girl, the redhead girl's got like a headband on and her hair's all, she looks just like Jack Grealish. You're gonna go look it up and you're not gonna be able to unsee it when you do. You're gonna be like, wait a second. You're gonna be like that Leo DiCaprio gif. Dynasty says ball, or yeah, I'm talking about Soler. Is he better than Barco? I really, really, really liked Valentin Barco when he was at Boca. He went to Brighton. He's on loan right now somewhere. I can't remember where he went on loan, but sounds like Julio Soler is on the way to Liverpool. Seems like they're actively looking for a left back. Davies, Soler, maybe Kirkes. I think Kirkes would be a good fit for them as well, and he could be available for free because Robinson is like 30. Simicas, not great, so sorry, I go on one. When it comes to Jack Grealish has got to be one of the most just overrated footballers I've ever seen, man. Like, it's insane. Like, I've never seen a footballer get so much hype for doing fuck all on a pitch. Like, seriously. He's got one move, and it's roll over. Either he's going to win a foul or he's going to pass it back to his defender. That's all he does. The guy's god awful. Danby says more of an all-around player, better defender, more physical. Yeah, he is very, very physical. He's fast. He's just quick. So I like him a lot. Thanks for the suggestion. Probably in the future we can do some more things like that, where I'll let you guys kind of throw out some ideas for, scouting reports and things to anybody you want to highlight. We'll look into that in the future. But let's dive into the match preview, because that's why we're all here. Wanting to get through a lot of that news first. Obviously, we are riding the hype wave after a big derby win over Man City, but it is clear that there are some wrinkles still to iron out when it comes to this United squad and delivering what Amorim wants on the pitch. We are struggling recently, though, and so are Spurs. Spurs decided, though, that the struggle was over. They woke up on Sunday and chose violence, scoring 5 goals in the first half against Southampton, who sacked their manager afterward. Again, you could say it's only Southampton, but getting into form, getting confidence, and building momentum as a club, like in Spurs' case, that's key right now. But it is a big cup tie tomorrow for both teams. Two teams really in need of a consistent string of wins here. It's been a while since we put together a couple wins. I want us to do this. Danny says, I hope Poole don't get him. I mean, looks like we're getting ready to sign a left back. Dan, I don't know. We still have Amas kicking around. We're about ready to sign Diego Leon, as their club president has pretty much confirmed. So on Spurs, after Postecoglou's bright start last season, the wheels have kind of started to come off for the Boomerang Bielsa, right? Teams have figured him out. His players can't really handle the physical demand, and Spurs fans are already turning on him. Now, the win against Southampton papered over a little bit of cracks, but it's not been great. Of course, we remember vividly how Spurs turned us over earlier this season under Ten Hag. They had much more energy, much more pace, and just overall more physicality and desire than we did on the day. I mean, fucking Van de Ven basically just had nothing but a 75-yard red carpet to carry that ball up the pitch. We can't have that. That's just so unacceptable at United, and we've seen that happen a couple times this season. Amorim seems like he's really focusing on that transition back to defense, that rest defense, that getting back into your shape quickly if you lose the ball, which we've not been great at. We've been undone by those one-man solo runs time and time again. As far as Ange go, it's kind of feeling like the early days of Klopp at Liverpool. That big, fast-paced system is wearing players out. It will kind of cull some of the players who can't hang, but it's taking a physical toll. Will the players adjust? Or will Spurs have to just bring in fitter players if they stick with Ange, if things do end up turning around for them? He's going to be without a couple players, though, for this one, Postecoglou. Vicario, their starting keeper, is out. Not going to be back for a while. Van de Ven injured. Romero injured. Ben Davies, all injured. Odegaard is still out with a hamstring. Richarlison is going to be out for a while. Bentancur is suspended. He did make an appeal. I think they lost the appeal. I think some sort of like racially remark about Heung-Min Son or something. I don't remember, but he lost his appeal, so he's suspended for this one. But despite the injury, Spurs do have a couple players who are doing pretty decently right now, and players that can cause us problems. Kulusevski, very, very dangerous. I wanted this guy when he was at Juventus back when we were under Oli and we were playing those inverted wingers. The guy is very, very good, and he's having a good season. Maddison can be hot or cold on the day. You never know which Madison's going to show up. Is he going to be one like the other day, or is he going to be the one who rolls around on the ground every time someone looks at him? You never know. Son isn't anywhere near the player he was a few years ago, but he's still Youngman's son. He could still pop up and do something if you're not prepared. Solanke loves a goal against us. We saw that at Bournemouth. We saw that with Spurs earlier this season. Brennan Johnson obviously showed up for Spurs against us earlier this season too. He does have that kind of pace that if you're not switched on at left back or in the left side of defense, he can hurt you. You need to watch these back posts. You know what you're going to get from Spurs, though. That fast, high pace, no matter who's fit, whatever, they're going to play that way. That's the only way that Postecoglou plays. The Boomerang Bielsa has one plan. It's attack. He's Klopp light, basically. That's all he is. Danny says the under 18s are 1-up already. Nice. Who scored, Danny? Let me know. Biancheri, nice. That's another guy that I'm excited to see come through the pipe. Nice. I love that kid. So on United, so we have Bournemouth this weekend, which is going to be a big, big match, right? So Bournemouth are on a really good run of form. They are above us in the table, so we need to play a strong side on Sunday. We need to make sure we put out a side on Sunday that puts us in the best position to pick up all 3 points. I'm not going to go the Arsenal fan route, though, and toss the cups aside and say we have bigger fish to fry, right? It's bigger fish to fry FC over there. But what I will say is that between the Carabao Cup tomorrow and the league match against Bournemouth this weekend, if I had to choose right now, I would prioritize the Bournemouth match because I want us to start picking up steam in the league. I need some back-to-back wins in this league, especially after that big derby win. We've yet to put together back-to-back wins in the Premier League this season, and we need to turn that around. I know it's still early doors for amorim and the system and things, but we have to start building momentum somewhere. We can't just keep taking one step forward, one step back. It doesn't work. That does probably mean we're probably going to see rotation. Darkrow, I know you'd asked earlier. Realistically, though, we should be able to rotate even just a little outside of the core squad and have enough to maybe do something against this weakened Spurs defense. We should be able to get out there and get something from this. We need our attackers to have a good game, so no more missed chances, Bruno. You had an open goal. I haven't even looked at the XG on that chance that Bruno had. I can't bring myself to do it because it's just going to make me mad. So amorim has said, I spoke with a lot of players individually and during training. What I want is to take the best of Rashford and the other players. Don't talk about the future, talk about the present. I want the best. I want to win. I want to help the team be better. We are better with Rashford. That's simple. We have to push him to the level he's shown in the past. So he was asked in the pre-match presser, amorim, what's going on with Rashford? Is he part of the squad? He said that this club needs to take big talent. Rashford is a big talent, and he just needs to perform at that level. That is my focus. I just want to help Marcus. He says it's the biggest challenge in football. We're in a difficult situation. This is one of the biggest clubs in the world. It's a new challenge, the biggest one. I hope they're all ready. He said, we have one more training session, but it's the same situation as other players. Talking about Garnacho and Rashford. If they train well, I have to make a choice. We'll see at the end of training. Will Garnacho and Rashford be part of the squad? I don't know. The word is Rashford did not travel. Garnacho did. So, again, I asked the question last night. I'll ask it again. Has Rashford played his last match for Manchester United? What do you guys think? We talked a little bit about that last night. Sorry, I'm just going through my notes here. So Henry Winter did speak with Jay Motti with Stratford Paddock this morning to clarify some of the things he wrote. Jay Motti, I like Jay Motti. I met him actually. I ran into him totally random. Him and Joe at the Arndale, the mall in Manchester when I was there last year. So random, but it was really cool to chat with them for a hot second. It was the day after that Crystal Palace match too, so obviously the mood wasn't super positive, but really nice guy, Jay. Really cool. So Henry Winder was on that channel this morning. He clarified. So just to clarify some of the stuff from last night, because I know Rashford's been getting a lot of hate. But Henry Winder said that school trip to the Button Lane, where the primary school where Rashford, that was scheduled like a week out and had to get delayed. So it wasn't like a timed, planned PR thing necessarily. At least what Winter thinks. But I do think that it could have something to do with why Rashford was dropped for the Derby. If this thing was planned, if Rashford was in this state of mind, maybe if he'd even asked permission ahead of time, if this was all known as a manager, if a player comes to me a week before a Derby and asks to go do this thing and is getting permission maybe to meet with Henry Winter or whatever, I don't know. To me, that's going to tell me, all right, your head's not in this Derby right now. I get that you gotta go, you want to go do these things. I get that, but it's clear to me, even if just talking to you, I get a sense that maybe just your whole demeanor is not 100% with your head in the game. It's probably not the best decision for you. It wouldn't surprise me. Amorim probably thought, and he said this ahead of time, like the way you're dressed, the way you're engaging with people. If it's not right, then it's something to think about. He said he looks at everything. Probably had a lot to do with it. So we'll see what happens with Rashford. Don't sleep on Bayern, by the way. I think Fabrizio Romano said this morning that Bayern wanted Mykhailo Mudryk last season, and they didn't get him, obviously. So it is clear that Bayern do want wingers, or at least left wingers. So don't sleep on Bayern Munich as a destination for Rashford. We can talk more about that in another video if you guys want to do a Rashford kind of replacement video. I have that one prepped and ready to go. It's just a matter if you guys are interested or not. So here's my 11 that I would like to put out tomorrow. So as you can see here, I moved Ahmad around a little bit. I do think that as good as he's been on the wing, obviously he played a lot against City. Arguably one of our best players so far. Early shout, I think, for player of the season. The guy ran his socks off for 90 minutes against City. But I just don't think we have options not to play him personally, unless you start Garnacho in that 10 spot. But I'm actually putting Ahmad in the 10 because he's not going to have to do as much running. He still gets to impact the game in a dangerous area that he's very good in. So we can let Antony take over some of that leg work a little bit. And despite what you might think, Antony, when he gets the ball, he can do something with it in terms of maybe making some space. He just has to back himself a little bit more. I'm not saying keep Antony. I'm just saying Antony isn't just 100% shit right now. So there's an argument can be made for Garnacho to maybe start in that 10, but right now I just think we have to keep playing Ahmad. Oh, Danny says Biancheri scored another one. Kukanki not playing again, says Danny. Maybe he's part of the first team setup. Yeah, Kukanki's been in and around the first team training. He just hasn't been a part of the squad. So we'll see what happens. Amorim has been bigging up Antony recently, so I do have a sneaking suspicion that we'll see Antony starting this one. He's been bringing him on as a substitute as well. The same with Malacia. Malacia started against Victoria Pilsen after joining Amorim in that presser. I think that we might see Malacia still got to get back to fitness, so he's not going to be playing every single game. But this is just one of those games where it doesn't impact us in the long term necessarily. It would be great to win, but we can start Malacia probably and see how it goes. I just think Dalot needs a rest. I think that's a big part of why Dalot's been struggling is just the fact that he's been played like every single match. So he needs a rest. I do think this is also a Casemiro game, as you can see in my starting 11. He was rested a bit against City. I do think that this could be a game for Casemiro as well. It's going to be hard. I don't think Spurs necessarily have the legs right now to cut through us as quickly, but I do think that this could be, when we're on the ball, Casemiro is definitely a good asset. I went back and forth between Licha and Mizraoui starting in defense, but ultimately what made the decision is the news that maybe Mizraoui is going to be a doubt. He did put in a hell of a shift against Doku. Mizraoui, he kept him pocketed. Yeah, he got put on his ass once, but overall, over the course of the 90 minutes, Doku was in Mizraoui's pocket the whole time. It kind of reminded me of when Wan-Bissaka was marking Raheem Sterling in one of the derbies. Like could not do anything. So I think that obviously that means Leach is probably going to end up starting. He was limping after the match, but Amorim said they're still assessing him. Honestly, we don't need to start him. He's fine. We have a big match this weekend. It's fine. Euro starts for me. I don't think Maguire has it in him yet to do 2 matches in a row, especially after the work he put in against Holland. I mean, Maguire had a great match. I mean, aside from Ahmad, Maguire is probably one of the best players on the pitch on Sunday. He was alive to every piece of danger. He was keeping Holland quiet. He was sticking a foot in, making vital interceptions, toe pokes. He did very well, but I don't think he has consecutive starts in him. So I'm starting Euro, putting De Ligt, putting Licha in there. I think we're going to want Licha marking that space in and around that the deep in our side to watch those runs to mark that back post. Leach is actually pretty decent at doing that. Lindelof you can maybe argue that maybe Lindelof should start, but I think Lindelof will probably be on the bench and he'll probably get minutes, but I don't think he's going to start. But we'll see. Manu starts for me. Danny says, yeah, I agree with that team, but Ugarte instead of Cask. Does Ugarte start 2 in a row, you think? I'd like to keep him fresh for the weekend, but we'll see. I mean, I'm not saying Castu's better. I'm just saying I might start Cast for this one. Goals for George says Bayender should be in goal. Onana handles Premiership in Europa. Bayender was getting rotated under Ten Hag. I don't know if he's going to be the same for Amorim, but we'll see. It is a good shout. I think Bayender probably is one who's not long for United. He'll probably be out the door either next month or the summer, personally. But Manu starts for me. Manu wasn't meant to start at all against City. He was meant to be a sub, but he had to come on because Mount was forced off to injury like 11, 12 minutes in. But I want Manu in there. We don't really have many other options right now. I don't trust Bruno in that pivot as part of just a pair. In a 4-3-3 as an 8, Bruno will be just fine because he doesn't have to do everything, but he's a little too soft on the ball. He's not really good defensively. I can't handle that right now, especially next to Casemiro. But again, I wish Collier was fit. If Collier is fit enough to start, I might throw Collier in there as well because I want to see more of Collier, especially if we're going to go on loan. I want to see what he has to offer. And it is one of those. Dang, it's 3-0 up already. Well, that would have been a very short watch along for me. Obi. Yeah, of course, Obi. That kid, I guarantee you we'll be seeing Obi in the first team before the end of the season. Mark, you can clip that up. The big question for this weekend, though, and I was going to say I threw Xerxes in there as well, just because I think Xerxes probably, we're going to have to rotate Højlund. Højlund does a lot of running, so, and then Bruno, of course, because I think Bruno just plays when he's fit, and we don't have any other options. Hopefully, we can remedy that in January. Maybe bring in another player for that 10 role. If you guys want me to do that video, that's something we could talk about because I do have a good little list. Biancheri could easily play one of the 10s. Yeah, I mean, Biancheri, he was very young when we brought him in. I think that he could easily come in and do a job for us as well. Just a matter of, if the club thinks he's ready. We thought that about Harry Amos, and the club clearly did not agree either. So, as far as Rashford and Garnacho, it's up to them if they play. Amorim has said, it's every day, every game, every week is a new week. It's up to them. They have to show me something, basically. Again, we did see the reports that Rashford did not travel. Garnacho did. I don't know what's going on with Rashford personally. I really don't think Rashford's head is at all in it right now. I think that he's just not focused whatsoever, and you can't have that on the pitch. In the dressing room, it is what it is. You're a person, you're allowed, but you just can't have it on the pitch. If you're not focused, you can't be on the pitch. Hopefully his teammates are talking to him here and there and just checking in on him. You're part of a team. You're supposed to be doing that. But again, it's up to them. Amorim looks at everything throughout the week. So if either of them was going to start, it'd probably be because Ahmad's getting a rest and Garnacho is going to be thrown in that number 10. But we'll see if they have a spot in the matchday squad. How would you guys line up? Let me know what you guys think. Danny says 18 setting up with 3 at the back with 2 high wide wingbacks. Yeah, they've been doing that. I watched the under 21 play on the weekend, and Amorim was there with Darren Fletcher and Jason Wilcox, and they've been playing that as well. Keeping one center back kind of higher up, goalkeeper kind of moves up a little bit, creates like a little wide diamond at the back, which is like, and again, that's what we knew going into this, that Amorim was starting to implement that system and those tactics from the academy level to the first team, which is what you want to do. That's what Ajax do. It's what good clubs do. So, but how would you guys line up? Anything different you'd like to see? You guys saw my lineup. What's your score prediction for this match tomorrow? I'm going 2-1 United. I think it's going to be a little bit of a back and forth affair. I think that Spurs are probably going to sit up a little deeper and then try to hit us really quickly on the break like they like to do. So we need to be alive to that. I think we're pretty good at defending from open play. So hopefully if they don't get any corner kicks, we should be fine because, again, we are very good defending from open play. We've only conceded chances against City and Arsenal from set pieces. Forest, again, that first goal set piece. Our set piece defending is shit. Nearly half of our goals we've conceded this season have been from set pieces. So we have to do better at that. But from open play, we're actually pretty decent. If we stay switched on, we know where the danger's coming from. Danny says, same team as you, maybe Ugarte, Collier instead of Manu. Yeah, it's hard. The midfield does get interesting because I want Ugarte to play, and I said the other day, if he's fit, play him. It's hard for me not to think maybe that I want him against Bournemouth fully fit and ready to go. Plus, Casemiro didn't play the other day, so Casemiro's you can't have a 375K a week player just chilling on the bench. But could be either way. Maybe Ugarte starts tomorrow to maybe give us the best chance to get further in this cup. Maybe Amorim will take it super seriously, not like some other former Liverpool managers who couldn't even be bothered to show up for cups. But hey, it is what it is. And maybe we go with Casemiro on the weekend. I don't know. We will see. And like Danny says, it is a close one to call. It's close. We're kind of at similar places right now, us and Spurs, in terms of just form and whatnot. I think that, like I said, the new manager bounce with the Boomerang Bielsa has kind of tapered off a little bit, and their players are starting to drop like flies. We are kind of on a bit of an ascendancy. Plus, we're riding a little bit of a positivity hype. But at the end of the day, Spurs are exactly the kind of team, and they play the exact kind of system that can do us damage. They play with high pace, high intensity, high energy, which we struggle against. And so we have to bring some physicality to that midfield. We have to be alert to the speed because Werner is fast. He's shit in front of goal, but he is fast. Brennan Johnson's very fast as well. Solanke loves a goal against us. Madison, Kulusevski, they can all cause us problems. So have to be alert to it. Danny, maybe you're right. Maybe this is a game for Ugarte and just tell him to go sit on either Madison or Kulusevski and don't let them get into the final third at all. Who knows? Goals for George says, I wouldn't be surprised if Ahmad is on the bench and Garnacho starts. Ahmad needs rest and should be fresh for Bournemouth. Yeah, I went back and forth. When I put together the 11, it was post Derby, pre knowing that Garnacho had traveled, so I was kind of under the assumption that maybe he wasn't even really going to be part of the squad. So, but that's why also I put Ahmad on the 10, maybe a little less running, but I could probably see that happening if Ahmad travel. But you guys let me know. I'm going 2-1 United. The interesting thing about this match, yeah, and then Danny agrees, yeah. So we'll amend it and we'll say Garnacho starts in the 10. Garnacho's still young enough to learn that position and make it his own if he wants to. Again, like I said about him and Rashford the other day, he has to want it. He has to say, okay, I thought I was going to be a winger, and that's where I've been playing. That's where I saw my career as. Things are different now. Can I change my game? Can I learn a new way of playing? Can I start to develop in this different way? Can I basically, not get what I want, basically, and maybe be open to this manager? If not, then he's got to go. But if he wants to, then I think that he has nothing but potential there. It's up to Garnacho now. But what is interesting about this match, though, is I've read that there's not going to be a VAR for this match. So no VAR. A little bit ridiculous, in my opinion. One thing I've said about VAR, other than the fact that it's shit and all it's done is highlight the incompetence of Premier League refereeing. If you, in the cup competitions especially, if you can't have it in all the matches, in all the stadiums, if the infrastructure is not there, the funds or whatever, if you can't have it in all the grounds, you can't have it at all. It's not fair to have it at one stadium versus another. Not fair to have it in some rounds but not the next. It's really, really dumb. If you can't have VAR at Spurs United in the quarterfinal of the Carabao Cup, then you don't need to have it at all in the competition. Because a lot of the teams in this competition, right, they don't have the infrastructure. So it'll be nice to get back to the way it was in the olden days, though, right? Just no VAR. Danny says maybe Ahmad a right wing back. Man, he did a lot of running against City, though. I'd be surprised if we threw him in that role twice. I'd like to see Ahmad and Akerke's battle on the weekend. That would be a fun little battle to watch. So you guys let me know what you're predicting for the score. Like I said 2-1. Sounds like the under-18s are up 3-0. Sounds like it's going to be just a easy day at the office for the under-18s today in their FA Youth Cup match. So, and then a fun little stat, though, that may help us stay positive is I saw this yesterday. Only 2 British teams are unbeaten in European competition this season, and one of them is United, the other is the Bin Dippers. So we are undefeated. Yes, we had 3 draws, but we are undefeated in Europe right now, and so are Liverpool. So it's kind of a fun little stat. It's always nice to big yourselves up when you can. So again, a little earlier stream. Just had a lot going on today, so it's unfortunate, I wasn't able to do my later stream. But in any case, got a lot of work to do. Hopefully, you guys didn't miss work to come and join the chat. Goals for George says Collier has been training well and should get some minutes in cup competitions. I hope so. I said if he's fit, I want to see more Collier. We haven't seen Collier since what, like Liverpool? Which was first, Liverpool or Barnsley? I can't remember now off the top of my head because he played left back against Barnsley, and then he came on at like halftime against Liverpool. He didn't come on for Casemiro or something. That was a fucking shit show. Danny says, can't call it, leaning towards Spurs. Yeah. It would be nice, though, to kind of not allow Spurs to get closer to a trophy. We have to. It's the one thing we get to laugh at Spurs is no trophies for forever, for decades. And I'd like to keep that going if possible. So it's hard. It's a hard one to call right now. We're not in the place where we can rotate too heavily, but we're getting there. And I don't say that because of fitness, say that because of quality. So you do notice we're still in that place where there is a bit of a dip when we do rotate or when someone is injured. So hopefully hopefully the club sees this, hopefully the recruitment staff sees this, and they make moves in January. I've got a video prepped and ready to go if you guys are interested on, how can we replace Rashford and what maybe should we do when that time comes, whether that's next month or the summer. A couple different positions to look at, a little outside of the box options, but you guys let me know. Danny agrees stopping him from getting a trophy would be great. I would love it. I would absolutely love to be the team that just says, no, sorry, Spurs, you're not that guy. You are the non-trophy side. So thank you guys for joining me today. Please like the video if you haven't yet. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new. We are on the road to 3K, and I will be back probably not till Friday to do, could be tomorrow night, but maybe Friday to do the reaction to the cup match. And then obviously we're going to preview the Bournemouth match that is set for Sunday. So not a whole lot of time to rest, but we'll see that. And then depending on what's going on for the holidays, we'll see how that schedule looks. I don't really do a whole lot in the holidays because I like to just chill when I don't have to do work and stuff. But Danny says they should play full team. They need to win something. Yeah, they do. Again, the pressure is under Spurs. And for the struggles that they've had this season and the way the fans are starting to turn on, they need something to kind of get the fans back on side. And so it would be something to help them with. I just don't want them to have it because it's fun. So cheers, everyone, for stopping by. Thank you, everybody, for getting involved today. I will see you guys on the next one. Enjoy your day. And go over to MUTV if you haven't and watch the rest of this under-18s match. So talk to you later, guys. Bye.